Hey, Central family. Right now at our house, there are a couple empty Amazon boxes sitting outside our front door. My wife Lori and I have this sort of different kind of approach when it comes to dealing with the potential of the coronavirus. And one of her approaches is to not bring the packages in the house. You go out, you open them, you leave them outside for a while. So it's kind of funny. I just keep walking past these empty boxes outside of our front door. And anyway, that's the world we live in right now. Friends can't really come over or come into your house. People leave things on the door and don't even necessarily ring the doorbell. They'll text you, hey, that's there, so you can get it. Lori and my daughter Emma went over to visit their parents who are healthy but are in the high-risk potential age group. And so they went over to visit them and sat in the front porch of their house. And they have a door that kind of partially opens in the middle, but the door's basically closed, and they're 6 feet apart, and their parents are inside the house and they're outside the house. But they just got tired of FaceTiming and they thought, let's just go see them, and we won't be around, we won't be close to them, but we'll have a conversation with them. That's kind of where we're at in our world and in our culture. And I was thinking about all of this, and I thought about what Jesus said to the church at Laodicea. Revelation chapter 3, beginning in verse 20, he says these words. He says, "Look, I stand at the door and knock. If you hear my voice and open the door, I will come in, and we will share a meal together as friends." Jesus wants to come in. Now, it's easy to think that this passage was written primarily for people who were not yet believers, and that the whole idea was that they would open their heart to become believers so that Jesus could come in and fellowship with them in their life. But when you really look at the passage, it was spoken to a group of people who were already believers, to the church at Laodicea. Some of them were lukewarm, some of them weren't fully committed, and Jesus is saying to people who, many of whom would have already believed in him and trusted him, that he's standing still at the door of our hearts and he's knocking. And I think right now, with all the fear and anxiety and all the things going on in our world, it's very important that we open that door, that we let Jesus come in and fellowship with us. The greatest gift that you can give your friends and your family, your coworkers right now, is a non-anxious presence. And the only place I know to receive a non-anxious presence is in fellowship with Jesus, spending time in God's Word, praying on a daily basis, taking moments like this for devotional thoughts, asking God to move and work and fill us. And remember, right now, he's knocking on the door of our hearts. He wants to come in to work in our life, to fellowship with us. He says we'll share a meal together as friends. And in the ancient world at that time, who you ate with was a big deal. Jesus wants to relate with you. So in all the conversation about social distancing, he does not want to be socially distant from you. You might have packages outside the door, but Jesus is knocking on the door of your heart. He wants to come in and fellowship. Let's open the door today. God bless you guys.